Thank you for coming, even though the weather was not really inviting anyone. And it's very nice to come in the rainy day to hear people from Latin America talking to us. My name is Irena Taskovski. I'm a managing director of a London-based company called Taskovski Films. What we do, we travel around the world and look for talented people, talented filmmakers, and then we represent them around the globe. In our catalog, we also have films from Latin America, and this year I spent 2 months in Latin America doing research, meeting talented young producers and directors, looking for the films to bring them to the rest of the world. At that time, I decided that it will be very good to bring something from Latin America to England and share with you the knowledge that I gained there while traveling and doing research. And today here, I have the pleasure to introduce you to 3 beautiful, powerful ladies from different countries from Latin America. And each of them would shortly introduce themselves and tell you the situation about documentary films in their countries and what they do. Of course, we are here for you, so if you would have any questions, you can ask us anything and stop discussion in any point you feel like it. And we have an hour for that, so we will put the speedy tempo, but I'm sure we will get to every point you would like to hear today. So we will start from my right-hand side. First, next to me, it's Paola Castillo from Chile. So I will give a space to Paola to introduce herself shortly, and then we will move on.
Hi, thanks for coming. I am filmmaker and producer of documentaries, and also I am directing a new platform organization called Chile Doc to improve our distribution in the abroad.
Thank you. And next one, it's Claudia Rodriguez from Colombia. So I will ask Claudia to tell us just shortly.
Okay, I'm Claudia Rodriguez Valencia. I'm the international representative of RTVC, the main public channel of Colombia. Also, I'm a scriptwriter and a content consultant for documentary and fiction programs in my country. And also, I run a lot of co-productions between Latin America from the channel and from the independent producers.
Thank you. And the lady on the end of this table, it's Elena Fortes from Mexico. She's the director of one of the most important documentary film festivals in Mexico called Ambulante.
Yeah.
What else I should say?
I run Ambulante. It's a traveling documentary film festival. We also have a new training initiative within Ambulante, and we also offer post-production funding with Ambulante in Mexico to Mexican documentaries.
Great, thank you. And maybe before we move on to a deeper introduction of each of these countries and this representative of these countries, I would also like to ask you here in the audience, how many of you, it's filmmakers, producers and directors, and just somehow I would like to hear what is that interests you, because what we were planning to do is to talk about creative process in each country, what's happening there now, but also about co-production possibilities between UK, Europe, and Latin America. So if there is anything else that any of you would like to hear, you can tell me now that we can touch that subject too.
I represent a funding organization called Worldview, and we're looking to now focus on potential Latin American talent or Latin American co-productions to support with our funds. So this is fairly new for us to come into your area, and we'll possibly partner with Tribeca, but we want to know possibly which hubs we should attend to find the stories and new talent, and be aware of co-productions that are potentially happening between Latin America and the UK.
Great, thank you very much. So we'll get to that in this hour. And there is one more.
Thank you. I'm a producer from Germany, but I'm Spanish actually, and I work a lot with Latin American subjects and themes and sometimes also talent. I'm trying to find out how to approach Latin American channels, broadcasters. Is there any way to like make pre-sales, sell the films to them, and so on? Yeah.
Okay, great. And And there is one more, and then we will start. Oh, two more. Well, you will all have a chance to ask questions on the end. I just wanted to see if there is any subject that we wouldn't thought of talking that we will include. But yes, please.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a distributor, and I'm interested to find out what are the best hubs and the best festivals that are taking place across South America, where I can meet producers who are interested in having their work exported and also interested in partnering up with us for co-production.
Great, thank you. And here is the last one, and then we will start, because otherwise we'll have only questions, no time for answers.
Hi, I'm Gina Fig from UK Trade and Investment, and we're looking to support trade between Latin America and the UK in the creative industry. So probably the same, you'll answer at the same time, hubs, where we should go, where we should be, and who we should be talking to.
Great, thank you very much. So that's also good for us to know what interests you so that we can include it, and we can split it between us, because, for example, with television, Claudia could talk about that part. About festivals, Elena would include it in her presentation, but each of us could say something about it. So I would suggest we start with Chile, where Paola would tell us more about Chile Doc organization that she's running with her other colleagues. I was also in March invited by Chile Doc to teach and train documentary filmmakers in Chile, and I have to say they do an excellent job there, and it's very important because people in Latin America, they are very talented, but they don't have access to information from abroad, and also the way of developing ideas, it's different from what we do here in Europe. So what they are doing, connecting these two worlds, it's very good. And both for you and your other colleagues, or all of our colleagues sitting here, I think it's very good information. So please tell us more about your work.
Okay. Hi. Chile Doc born more or less 2 years ago, because in Chile in the last maybe 10 years ago, I'm appearing a very good filmmaker. We are doing a different style or kind of documentaries, the most of them more with artistic approach. But our problem is the market. In Chile, they are not a market. They are not a local market. We are working very independent. We support our funds, our institution, cinematographic institution, but we are not working with TV in general. And also, well, we live in a very far country, so it's very difficult to be in a market, international market, and to travel because it's very expensive also. So for these reasons, we create Chile Doc with support our cinematographic institution, and we are working in 3 levels. No, we are doing training, specifically with producers. No, our idea that producer really understand. It's not only a people who need to obtain money. It's like a co-director in some way, no. And in Chile, it's a new way for understand the job of the producer. And also, we are doing networking. We are working with different festivals, Neon, Leipzig, and in another space in Latin America, like Doc Montevideo in Uruguay. Doc DF is another very big festival for documentaries in Mexico, with Argentina. And we are doing some kind of research for try to create a new way to build in a market. No, it's a real problem because Latin America is a strange continent because we are speaking the same language, but we are very disconnected in our cinematographies. No, but I think this we are broken this at this moment. We are talking more. We are creating, we working between us. But I would like to show you before a very little clip, 2 minutes for you sense, feel our moment in Chile with the documentaries.
Chileno de partida tiene una tradición y tiene un prestigio y tiene fuerza.
Creo que hay mucha capacidad, casi en el gen o en el ADN de nuestra identidad, a hacer documentales.
Cada uno es una tendencia. Hay gente que le preocupa mucho la cuestión personal, autobiográfica. Hay otros preocupados de la memoria histórica. Hay otros que son experimentales. Yo diría que lo principal es el eclecticismo.
Para mí lo más destacable de los documentalistas chilenos es su proximidad, cercanía y empatía con las temáticas, con las historias y con los personajes.
Aman lo que hacen y aunque trabajen con poco presupuesto, trabajan años por lograr un buen resultado y por lograr una buena película.
Se ha transformado en la manera de que la gente en Chile comenta lo que le pasa, comenta su entorno.
Están surgiendo escuelas de cine, están surgiendo festivales, está surgiendo gente que está experimentando en la búsqueda de nuevos lenguajes, temas, y eso ha sido un camino que hoy día se ve más proyectado porque tenemos, yo creo, una diversidad de realizadores increíble.
Creo que hay una cercanía con la emoción.
Hay libertad de realización, de creación.
Una pequeña productora, como puedo ser yo, con una infraestructura muy mínima, soy capaz de generar confianza por mis trabajos anteriores y de coproducir con países como Suiza, Francia o Bélgica.
The PowerPoint. You can see that, no, we are in a very good moment for us, no. The most of the young filmmakers are doing documentaries and are experimenting with the documentary, and we are really exciting in some way, no. It's very hard to talk about one style because there are documentaries about human rights, social topic, but I think in the last time, maybe 5 years ago, 3 years ago, there are very searching the artistic approach, no, cinematographic documentaries, no, is our style in the moment. In the last 2 years, we are working more in international co-production. We are obtaining international funds like ITVS, Vision Sudés, Jan Freiman. So we are more connecting in some way, no? But it's new for us, so we are discover new thing in this moment. I would like to introduce you some funds to do co-productions with Chile. We have a very important fund for development called Corfo. Corfo is a fund for to development the project. They give money to do the script, to make a trailer, to trip to go on different markets, and yes. Thing is maybe the most important, I think, for you, because in this case you need a co-production, but the director could be any nationality. It's not necessary that the director be Chilean. Of course, the project must be presented by a Chilean company, no? And we have an experience 3 years ago with the film of Victor Kosakowski, Vivan las Antípodas. He won this fund in Chile. No, of course you need some reason. No, maybe a character, maybe a location, but it's not necessarily a strong connection. No, you can receive more or less until 20,000 euros. Only for development, no? And you can spend part of the money abroad. It's not necessary to spend all the money in Chile. It's a co-financing. You need to put 30% of part of the total budget, and 70% is supported by Corfo. Corfo is I think is important for use. The next. We have another very important fund, Chilean Audiovisual Fund. This fund is part of our institute. This fund is for production, to do script for distribution for many layers, for study abroad, etc. But this fund you can only apply if there are co-production agreements. Now this is a little problem because we have only 5 co-production agreements with France, with Canada, with Venezuela, Brazil, and Argentina. So if, I don't know, if a Germany company need to get money throughout this fund, maybe need before a co-production agreement with France, no? Maybe it's the way to obtain money, but directly you need a co-production agreement. And then, bueno, the other problem maybe is you need the director be Chilean, no? It's another limitation. You have obtained for documentary, the maximum is 100,050 euros, no? There are another possibility. We have a very important fund for TV. It's not for film, it's CNTV, National TV Council. This fund is for fiction, non-fiction, TV series, etc., and appeared 2 years ago a line for co-productions. No, you need to apply a TV series. The minimum of the TV series is 4 episodes. The maximums are 8 episodes. 8. Sorry.
Something.
my mind in Spanish. 8 episodes is the maximum, and they support until 32,000 euros for episode. No. Of course, you need some connection with Chile. Maybe, see, you are thinking in a series in 1 chapter episodes in Chile, you can obtain money. The limit is you need to spend the money into the Chile. So for this reason, maybe it's important when you are doing a series with different countries in Latin America, no? And you can get support for this specific episode. There are, into the Corfo, there are another program for distribution. You can obtain maximum is 25,000 euros. It's only for distribution, no for to do prints, copies, travel, etc. So if in one moment you are working with a Chilean company on a Chilean film, you can apply together for this support, and it's very, very important. You need to co-finance 50% of the total project for distribution. And in terms of international funds, we are working, all Latin America, with a program called Ibermedia. It's in comparison like similar Euroimage, but it's very different because there are not points, no? It's another system, no? But you need minimum 2 Latin American countries for the co-production, no? Not only 1 in this case. There are not much money. The maximum, the real maximum that you can obtain is more or less 50,000 euros for production. No, there are money also for a script, but it's a very little, 3,000 euros more or less. And in Chile, the most important festival for documentaries, only documentaries, is FIDOCS. It's in June. In the last days of June. There are Latin American competition and national competition. Was created the film festival by Patricio Guzmán, our most famous filmmaker in documentaries. And also we have 2 important festivals. These festivals are fiction and non-fiction. It's Sanfic. Sanfic is in August in Santiago de Chile. And Valdivia. Valdivia is maybe it's the most important in Chile, no? And it's in a very, very beautiful city in the south. Really, I recommend the place. And the festival is very nice and have a market, and the market are improving every year, no? And if you want to have more information about Chilean documentaries or Chilean situation in general, for specific documentaries is our organization called Chile Doc. We have a page in English also. No, but this computer?
Yes, one moment. Get up, yes.
We have a page in Spanish and English, and at this moment we got a very important fund to improving our page. So in December will be more interactive with more information, but in this moment if you need some very brief information about Chile documentaries, you can see our page and receive information. Maybe in some interesting facts, in the last time the documentary had been shown in very different theatrical in Chile, we are improving our distribution. Also for thinking in cross media or transmedia, or we have we are using a lot the mobile, internet, TV. Chile is an incredible country connecting all the time, so it's very easy to work with social network, all the time. I think it's maybe the most powerful country in Latin America using Skype or phone, mobiles, internet. And in the last year, the most watched film had been documentaries. Maybe for different reasons. The documentary Color Rojos is about our soccer team, so it's normal. And if you need more information, of course, you can contact with me. Part of my job is introduce another different companies in Chile and give information about our situation. Of course, if you need information, send me an email and I answer. I promise. I promise. I promise.
Great. Thank you very much. And applause for challenge to speak in English. Thank you very much. So basically, to wrap it up, you heard that there is 3 very important festivals for all of you who would like to send your films to be shown in Chile. You also know that if you're interested to look for new talented people in Chile, you can go to any of these festivals. And you also know now that Paula and her colleagues are the best contact for you if you need any information to do with Chilean market, because they are in touch with all production companies or new talented directors and producers. So thank you very much. And also what was very important to hear that there is a lot of opportunities to collaborate with Chile, maybe with not huge amounts of money, but then still some money that you can gain there, not only when you co-produce a Chilean project, but also even if you have your project that is with European directors, so there is still a chance to obtain some money in collaborate with Chile. Thank you very much, and we'll move now to the next beautiful country, Colombia, where Claudia will tell us about what she does, what channel that she works for does, and how, and then we'll ask her some more questions about Colombian market.
Okay, it's going to be harder in English, but I'm trying to be so fluent as in Spanish. I work with RTVC, that is the main communication network in my country. We have 2 channels and 2 radio stations. And one of these channels is Señal Colombia, that is the public and educational cultural channel. I think that the best way to introduce you to Señal Colombia is to show our promo. It's a 2.5 minutes promo. It's very important to know that our principal slots are documentary and children's programming also. And this is a very common character now in all the public broadcasters at Latin America, like Encuentro and Paca Paca in Argentina, or 11 TV Canal 22 at Mexico, or TV Cultura or Futura Channel at Brazil. We are the channels that are producing, co-producing, and acquired documentaries around the world. I'm going to show you this little promo.
Hemos ganado poco, hemos sufrido mucho, pero esa es nuestra historia y hay que contarla. Enfócala.
estar rodeado de palos y así se veía cuando los iban a atacar. Y fue fundado por un cimarrón.
¿Y qué es un cimarrón?
Es un neuroesclavo que se escapó de Cartagena.
Porque está en el humor, porque está en el habla, porque está en el trabajo, porque está para cantar, porque está para enamorar, porque está para todo. ¿Qué sería de nosotros sin una guasa?
Referirse a uno con otra persona con agrado, pero más como que al estilo, oye, su merced está bien, su merced y yo vamos allí a tomar un refresco. Su merced, ¿qué necesita?
Yo llevo acá 10 años y duré 5 años que mi mamá era la que me regalaba para mis útiles de aseo. Y yo seguí y continué y hoy en día pues tengo otra situación porque uno mismo se gana la vida. La esmeralda quita el hambre, quita la sed, quita la ansiedad, quita lo que sea.
Todo el mundo estaba atrás de cambiar su vida. Esa plata es la plata más rápida de conseguir, pero es la más difícil. Porque tú te arriesgas, tú te montas en una lancha y tú sales allá afuera y puedes quedar allá afuera.
Y tal como el tiempo pasa y al niño no le dan teta, le encajaron una dieta que le pusieron por ley, le dan ese 26 y alimento de cajeta.
Mira el mar como es de bonito, no le arrojemos basura porque estamos quitando la cultura, nosotros somos cultura y gozamos el carnaval, que venimos a bailar.
Los verdaderos amigos son los que te escuchan y entienden cuando estás pasando por un mal momento. Pues yo estoy pasando por mi mejor momento.
Señores televidentes, no se retiren de este programa que está muy lindo.
Okay. You can notice a little bit about our programmation. All that you watch is part of our productions. We are producing almost 20 documentary series every year and almost 10 documentary films. We're starting to do international co-production since 3 years ago, and this is our second year that we have a core co-production. We just closed the call co-production at March, and this week we have the final results. Arrived to us as like 60 projects, kind of. Like 20 of these were films documentaries, and we decided to support 7 of these. 2 are only international, with only international content, and the other 5 kind of Colombian and Latin American, because for we is very important to be part of our region. For us, Latin America is almost a whole country now, and as Paula said just now, we were very disconnected for a lot of time, and now we are looking for new forms of create content and co-producing together. But also, we know that it's very important to have content for another countries, and we want to have another point of view of the different cultures and situations around all the world. In this moment, we have also acquisitions, and we have also a slot of international documentaries. We invest every year like $1 million in co-productions. This sounds like, oh, it's a lot of money, but it's a lot of money that we have to support a lot of projects. For that, our range of go in a co-production is like $20,000 until $40,000 for a film. For a series, could be like 20,000 each episode kind of. It's very important also that we work very close with the Ministry of Culture of Colombia that have like a national film commission that is called Pro Imágenes, that then I give you all the information. They have a production call every year, but for this production call you have to be presented as with a Colombian company. They are supporting documentaries with budgets around $300,000 kind of. Is a lot more because it's more for cinema documentaries. They work with cinema documentaries, but then we make arrangement with Pro Imágenes for showing as the first window in Colombia in our channel. I'm going to show you a little bit of one of our last co-production in documentary with a production company from Spain and with a Colombian director. It's called Bird or Nasser, has been in Visions du Reel, in a lot of festivals. It's like a journal of maternity in one of the poorest hospital in Bogota, and it's the kind of stories that we like. We like the stories that could make a connection, could connect emotionally with our audience. We know that the people love to watch the stories that tell something that they can compare with their own lives. And for that, there is not a nationality. We really believe in the powerful of the strong stories and of the stories from the heart. I'm going to show you it's a very little clip that is here. It's like the teaser. It's a little clip.
Yo no trabajo nada, quiero ser mujer, quiero ser útil. ¿Para qué? Para tenerlos, para hacerlos y no tenerlos. Isabela, se llama. Isabela. La mía, Dana Valentina. Valentina, muy bonito. Sí. Dije que más no, que si todos estaban de acuerdo, ¿y por qué tienen que estar ellos de acuerdo? Si es uno el que no quiere tener eso por ellos. Por ellos uno forma un equipo de fútbol, de teo. No, en serio.
Okay, it's a very little clip. If you can search in the web, there's in this moment is in a lot of festivals, and it's the kind of stories that we like to tell. That the character stories that could tell more about life and more about a lot of things only with the story of one or two or three persons. I think also it's very important that you know that, how I told you, at Mexico, Brazil, and Argentina, we have broadcasters that are very friendly with us, and we are starting also to make co-production between us, like series, based, for example, in this network that is very important for us, is TAL, Televisión América Latina, is a strategic Latin American communication network, as you can read. And with TAL, we are like 20 partners of Latin American broadcasters, and we made co-production, and we are also starting to make buys between all of us, because Latin American budgets are very slow for acquisitions. For example, in Mexico, you can be paid for a documentary with $6,000, $7,000 for in a station, but in Argentina you can be paid with $1,000. In little countries, $1,000, $2,000. Chile, 4,000. We are like Chile, like 4,000, 3,000. There's another little countries like, I don't know, Panama, $500. It's kind of, I know you're logging, but it's like that. For that, I think that the best is like consider Latin America for sales like a whole country, that you have to do little sales for have a really a good amount. And we are starting to make with TAL TV like acquisitions between 10 or 5 countries of documentaries. how was told you before, we have this co-production call is to be on February. Kind of October or November, we are going to have the last requirement for this co-production call. We are receiving projects from all the world, and you can take a look also to our website, Senal Colombia TV, that I'm going to put now.
Slowly running out of time. Thank you very much. I want like you just to tell the last thing, which is about festivals in Colombia, because that was one of the interests here. And is there any training program that is organized similar to Chile Doc in Colombia? And that's it. And then we need to move to Elena because we have only a few minutes left.
Sorry.
No
We have the BAM, that is the Bogota Audiovisual Market at July. Is a very good market. Also has this is its third version. I don't know if I can find it, but at BAM you can go and present projects. It's fiction and not fiction. We have another international documentary festival that is at November, the Muestra Internacional Documental. Then it's not a market, it's only for sending works, but for market is the BAM. And also the most great festival at Colombia is at Cartagena, the FICI, that is the International Film Festival, that is at February, March. It's very big. We have, I think that FICI is better and we have also a training program with the Minister of Culture at the FICI for pitchings or for producers. It's a very good workshop at the FICI at Cartagena, and Cartagena is the most beautiful city. No, really, but it's great.
Great. Thank you very much, and we will need to move to Mexico now to give a chance to hear also from Elena what are the news from Mexico. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Mexico has changed a lot in the past 10 years in both production and distribution. Unfortunately, distribution has always been a big problem because two broadcasting groups control about 90% of airspace in television, which leaves out, and they do not play a role in funding documentaries. So you have only two public broadcasters, Once TV and Channel 22, that actually are starting to fund more and more documentaries, but they have a small budget relatively. And screens, we do have, I think, the second or third largest theater chain in the world, Cinépolis. It's also in India now and in Brazil and Central America. But also the same situation, about 90% of those screens are basically occupied by Hollywood studio productions. So why we started Ambulante was basically to look or build, or either discover or build an audience for documentaries and try to generate spaces both within the commercial multiplexes and also all sorts of makeshift screening venues in order to attract a large and diverse audience. So we started 2006. The festival was founded by two Mexican actors, Gael Garcia and Diego Luna, which brought fortunately immediate attention in the beginning. They also founded a production and distribution company. So we worked quite closely with Canana, which is a company. And our audience has grown about 800% from year 1 to year 7, which just ended this year. And it's an interesting festival. We didn't, in terms of the model and how it works, because it's not a festival that is geared towards the film industry necessarily. It's just geared to the general public. It was very important for us to bring the films with the filmmakers along on tour, not just the films, so it's not just a traveling showcase. And also very important to organize all sorts of activities around the films that not necessarily include just film panels, but also bring together different cultural manifestations, I guess. So theater, music, the whole festival itself is inspired on a music tour. So we go to 12 cities now. We start in Mexico City in February, and each week we move to a different city. So we're on tour for about 3 months. We've recently also expanded the festival to Central America, to El Salvador and Guatemala, hopefully more countries in the future. And it's a very horizontal structure. We are a fairly small staff, but we have an army of volunteers that do more than just any volunteer. They actually help us look for local sponsors in each of the states, help us bring, I guess, that the festival doesn't feel like an invasion from, Mexico City, so actually like acquire its own personality in every state. And unfortunately, too, Cinépolis, the multiplex company, is one of our partners with the festival. They have also supported many festivals in Mexico, Guadalajara and Morelia, which are the two big international film festivals now. They are creating within the company art house, I guess, offshoot of their company. So hopefully that will open up more spaces for the films, independent filmmaking. And in terms of funding sources in Mexico, most comes from the Mexican Film Institute in terms of public funding. But a tax incentive was recently put into action about 3 years ago. It's about $10 million, I believe, that is for both fiction and nonfiction films. So that has attracted a lot of companies to basically invest in film. The regulations are still questionable, so it's still a very bureaucratic and complicated process, but it's an option for co-production. We offer funding as well for post-production, and there are quite a few festivals now. I can't list all of them because there are about, I think I would say, 100 festivals now in Mexico. But documentary, there's Docs DF, which will also be they will be organizing the Latin side of the doc this year. Morelia is both fiction and nonfiction, but they do have a competition for documentaries. There's Ambulante, there's also Contra el Silencio, Todas las Voces. If you in our webpage we have I think a section of interesting links. So we have links to all of what I've just mentioned, the broadcasters, the Mexican Film Institute, the different festivals. So you could look it up there.
It was very quick and informative. Thank you very much. I would just stress one thing that Elena just mentioned, but I want to point it out, that Docs DF, the festival which is taking place in Mexico City in November, that's also very interesting for those who are interested either to find new films from Latin America or projects or talented people to train or finance. That will be in November in collaboration with Sunny Side of the Docs. And what will be happening there, that will be, I think the call is open now, so any one of you who has an idea that is either taking place in Latin America or it's working with Latin American director or producer, you can apply with your project, the same like here in Sheffield, they have Meat Market. There will be open space for people with the project to come to present it to broadcasters, not only from Latin America, but from all around the globe. So any of you who would like to present your project or would like to go and learn about the projects, the good time to go to Mexico to find Latin American projects, it's in November this year during the Docs DF. So I think that's about Mexico. There is other countries, of course, Latin America, and there is other events which are really interesting and important for you to know about. Paula wanted to mention a few of them, and I will give her space to do so. And then, as we are running towards the end of this session, I would also like you to ask some more questions. And before I give the word to Paula, I would also like to say one thing, that for those who are interested in Latin America, and it's too far for you to go to Latin America this year, there is a very good thing which will be happening in Leipzig Film Festival, and we have representatives of Leipzig Film Festival here if they would like to say a few words about the event that they will be organizing. And I hope this is not a secret yet, but if I'm right, I would give them the space to introduce what they will be doing with Latin America this year, and I think that's a very good opportunity again for all of those who are interested in Latin America and can't make it to Latin America, they can make it to Leipzig. But we'll get, if you can just put your hands up just so people see you, and just when Paula finishes, we will get the word to you. Thank you.
In Argentina, there are 3 important events for documentaries and market. One is Doc Meeting in Buenos Aires, is in September. Another is Doc Buenos Aires. The first DOC meeting, no? The second is DOC Buenos Aires in November. And the third is Ventana Sur, in English could be South Window. It's in December. Ventana Sur is the big market in this moment in Latin America, is for fiction and documentaries and TV series. It's in December. It's after ITFA, no? In the first days in December and the last days in November. In Bolivia, there are another event created 3 years ago, more or less, called Bolivia Lab. No, it's for training on a little market for Latin American project. And Ecuador, there are a very important festival. It's not the same like Ambulante, but more similar. No, it's called EDOC, EDOC, EDOC in Ecuador. And in Uruguay was created a very important event for us in the last 5 years. No. 4 years ago, called Doc Montevideo. It's a market, they are pitching a Latin American project, a market, case study. It's a very good point to introduce a Latin American filmmaker, and these people that are creating connection with international fans, TV, and this moment, I think Claire Aguilar, Cynthia Kane, ITBS,
POV with Simon Kilmurray has attended Montevideo too. And also is the annual meeting of TAL, the network that I told you.
Yes. For us, Doc Montevideo is a very good point, the meeting. It's a meeting point for Latin American project, no? And you say Doc DF? Yes, I think it's a very big flank case.
Yes.
I don't know if, because I was thinking about something else at the moment, but you mentioned Bafisi.
Bafisi and something.
No, something I said. Okay. Bafisi is the most important festival, independent festival in Argentina. It's a very good festival. It's in April. No, there are a market for Latin American project.
Yes, and at Bafisi, part of the festival, they also organized the Talent Campus, which is also taking place in Berlin. So they have it during the Bafisi. And the same thing, it's organized through Talent Campus in Guadalajara in Mexico. And in Guadalajara, the other thing which is very interesting and nice, it's Docu Lab. They organize training program for Latin American filmmakers. And back at Bafisi, they also have a project which is called Lab, which is not only for documentary films, but it's also for fiction films, for all those who are developing their projects and they want to present it to potential co-producers or financiers. They can do so during the April in Bafisi. And that's, again, a good place for those who are looking for the project to support and finance, for those who are looking for potential projects to become films tomorrow and represent them, and for those who would like to offer and collaborate in training programs. So,
and the last is Brazil.
Yes.
Well, Brazil is a huge continent, no?
Yes, it's another continent.
It's another continent, no? Brazil, there, the most important festival is It's All True in Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo, and there are markets called Rio Market for fiction and documentary.
Yes,
no?
and for in Brazil also, at Sao Paulo.
Okay, that's all. So we'll give a space now shortly for representatives of Leipzig Documentary Film Festival, which is one of the most important documentary festivals in Europe and definitely one of the most important ones in Germany. So please, floor is yours. Introduce yourself and tell us what are you doing with Latin American this year.
Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. Yes, we are in Leipzig based. We are very old. It's the 55th edition this year, and we fell in love with the Latin Americans in 2010. There were a delegation from Argentina and from Chile coming to Leipzig. And we also noticed then there is already a co-production going on between Germany, Argentina, and Chile. It is this Victor Kosakowski's Vivan las Antipodas, which is also here in Sheffield now. So now we will have a special focus with Finnish films in Leipzig in October, and we will invite again a Chilean delegation in our co-production meeting which takes place on the 29th and 30th of October. The call for the submission is online now. The deadline is the 1st of August. It's open to all producers, especially the Europeans, because we are also funded by media. And yeah, we are happy that we can welcome again Latin American producers. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. And I think we have about 8 minutes left, so there is nothing else to do than to ask you to ask us some questions, and let's hope we'll fit it into next 8 minutes. So if any of you would like to ask something more, please raise your hand. We'll get the microphone and you can ask us.
Hi, well, first of all, thank you very much for this presentation, very interesting. I had a project I didn't pursue, and it was about violence in Guatemala. Can you suggest a distribution platform for Guatemala or a festival?
There are a platform called Sinergia, C-E-N-E-R-G-E-A, Sinergia. And a platform is some kind of platform for distribution, for support with a little money, central production of the America Central, no? And it's based in Costa Rica, I think. No, it's a very good point for to start, I think.
And there's also a film festival there, Icaro, which has been there for a long time, and they also bring the films to Nicaragua, El Salvador, Honduras, and I think Costa Rica. Okay.
There's also a platform based in Catalonia, in Barcelona, but they like a lot the Latins projects. That's called Berkami, with the B and with the K. Berkami. That we had like 2 projects there, and was amazing the response to Latin American projects.
Great, thank you.
Hello. Sorry, just a bit of shameless self-promotion here. Me and my wife Luna run a production company in Colombia, in Bogota. We do a lot of co-productions with UK companies like Darlow and Discovery and Raw TV. We've been working in Colombia now for about 2 years, and if anybody's interested in any co-productions or working with us, please get in contact. Thank you. And I'd just like to say Colombia is a great country with some great stories, beautiful people and beautiful landscapes.
Thank you.
He must be financed by a tourist board from Colombia. I don't know how much more time we have and do we have more questions, but before anyone raises the hand, I put on Taskovsky Films website, that's us, that's me. We represent Latin American films among any other talented filmmakers around the globe. The website is www.taskovskyfilms.com. All of you can also, for those who use Facebook, find us on Facebook, and if you can like us. The same is for Chile Doc. You can follow any news for Chile Doc on the Facebook, and for Ambulante too. Twitter también, yes. Also. And I can say only from our perspective as international distributor, for us it's very important, and what is specific about Taskovsky Films, that we take only a few films a year. And yes, we have to sell and make money for filmmakers and directors that we represent and to live from. But what is most important and what is our main drive, it's to discover something new, unusual, and different point of view, artistically or in the way how people deal with the subject that talk about the society. And that's what we have been doing in the past 10 years that the company exists. And we were very successful in that, and we are proud to say that we have in our catalog some of the most important filmmakers of the world today. We have 4 from Latin America. One is from Chile called Maria Paz, her film called Daughter. It's one of our films. We also have a filmmaker from Uruguay, Alicia Cano. She just made her first film called, right, this one, Beja Vista, which will be having world premiere in Carlo Vivari Film Festival and then in San Sebastian Film Festival. We also took a Chilean film from Chilean director who actually followed Carlos Klein is his name, and he followed the process of making a big film of Viktor Kosakovsky, who I don't know, it's supposed to be his masterclass on Saturday. I'm not sure if it's happening yet. But for those of you who didn't see Viva Antipodes or our film about this process of filmmaking and Viktor Kosakovsky, I will urge you to follow it and try to see it. So this is just shortly about us, and from international sales agent point of view, working with Latin America, it was always a pleasure because there's a lot of talented people and we like to discover more and more of them. In terms of selling there, it wasn't so easy. We collaborated with some of the channels that Claudia mentioned. We sold some of our films to Once TV, which is one Mexican channel. They made one place for award-winning documentary films, and they bought from us one film called René, which won in 2008 award from European Film Academy for the best European documentary. So they take some, but they really want the best ones. We also work with Venezuelan television station, with Brazilian and Argentinians, and now we are hoping that Claudia will also find something in our catalog. In terms of theatrical sales, it's also possible to collaborate in some countries like Argentina and Brazil to put your films into cinemas there. And all this VOD and DVD market, it's also possible, but it's not so strong yet. So there are still chances, but I would say that everything is on its beginning, and that's why it's very exciting to work with Latin America both ways, either to find filmmakers and bring it to the rest of the world, or take filmmakers from the rest of the world to Latin America. So that's from my side. I really much would like to thank all these ladies for coming from very far away to rainy Sheffield. And so they brought us some sun, hopefully. So please, one thank you applause for my panelists. And if I check my time, I don't think we have a minute left. I will see what the sign
2
of...
minutes.
2 minutes. So we can give it space for last question or for last comment from my guests, if any is there. No? Well, that's a very nice thing to do. I would like to, but I hope we'll have time. I would like to show you the clip of Beja Vista, which is one of films that I just mentioned from our catalog. Well, we can't do both, and she asked for the first one, and I love them both the same, so it's very hard for me to decide which one. But as we have time only for one, we'll show Beja Vista, and then if we have time for daughter, we'll show daughter.
If somebody will go to Edinburgh Film Festival, we'll show The Lifeguard in international competition, a Chilean documentary.
I would put it in the beginning.
Eso es lo que yo, lo que hago lo que yo quiero y como yo quiero, es mío. Ahora veo chilenos, son las 10 y nosotros no la noche.
Fue creando ambiente, atractivo, fue la nieve estrellato. No sé si hubo alguna persona que no visitara Bellavista.
Decime una cosa, el tema de Bellavista, el club de Bellavista. Sí. Que ustedes no saben que hay un hueco ahí. En los medios estudiantes. Y el estudiante de León, a ver si crean que en el trono.
Estamos palpitando ya el gran clásico. Bellavista vuelve al ruedo después de unos cuantos años.
Thank you. I think we have time. That's it. We are 2 minutes late, so I'm sorry to say goodbye, but thank you very much for coming and hopefully see you some of the following years. Thank you.